Dianne Adams, if you'll come on up here and share with us, please.
By the way, I'm Dianne Eppler Adams from Virginia, Washington, D.C. area, just to have some context. And I am so grateful for the opportunity to be here. It's just sort of a little miracle of my own that I'm here. So I thank you for coming to share my miracle. My topic is about uncertainty. But it's not just uncertainty, it's about spiritually thriving. Even when things are changing, fear is arising, resistance to what is there. How can we spiritually thrive in the midst of that kind of uncertainty? It seems lately that uncertainty is affecting everything. I don't know about here, but in the United States, we have a circus going on in our government. We have, breakdowns of the way it used to be all over the place, in every way. How many of you are dealing with some sense of uncertainty in your own life? Look at this. Yeah, I am too. So as an astrologer, I'm aware that part of this uncertainty is because we're at a profound time of shifting. Life goes in cycles, so does humanity's existence, and we are in one of those profound cycles of change. I can tell you that this very moment holds that change because we are in the midst of some pretty impactful aspects astrologically. So I'm going to share some of that with you just as a context. Don't get caught in the lingo if you don't have any relationship to astrological terms. Throw it away. But just to describe this time, the 30th of October 2013, we are currently in the midst of two eclipses. We're in the midst, those eclipses, and all eclipses, represent change. They represent change more directly if they're impacting your own personal birth chart. But it does still signal that there's flux. So we've had a lunar eclipse on the 18th of October. Now, lunar eclipses are about endings, completion, harvest. You've arrived, now that's done. And that eclipse occurred at 26 Aries. So if you have a birthday between April 13th and April 17th, or between October 16th and October 20th, some sense of your direction is shifting. Something is sort of not the same and not necessarily needed any longer. On Sunday, this Sunday, November 3rd, we have a solar eclipse. Solar eclipses are about beginnings. Something brand new is due to arrive. And that's taking place at 11 degrees Scorpio. So if you have a birthday between April 28th and May 2nd, or between October 31st and November 4th or 5th, well, there's something brand new happening for you. Open up. You can receive. Now, that's impactful as it is, but we also have on Friday the exact aspect between the planet Uranus and planet Pluto. They are in a square position, which is simply a stressful position. Let me try to describe that, because Uranus in Aries is about breaking new ground, and it's about total innovation. But it's being challenged by Pluto in Capricorn, which is hanging on, controlling, wanting the past to stay the same. All the institutions, government, corporations, education are in flux because of this. These two planets have been dancing since June 2012, and they will continue to dance until March 2015. Okay? We are in the very middle of that. I just got chills from saying that. And that means that we've had a lot of the breakdowns. We got all that breakdown awareness now. It's time for us to begin to see where the breakthroughs are coming. What is this new thing calling to us? How are we meant to be living together? And I submit that one of the key issues that this is pointing out is how separated are we? Are our ideologies creating divisions? And maybe what we need is to take a brand new approach that opens up to the possibilities of each individual being the like the flower in the garden that is absolutely necessary, and because you've got an idea or had a life experience that brought your idea into the world, if it's not my idea, I'm benefited because in some way I'm gifted. I'm not living with your life experience, I'm living with mine. But there's something I can see, we can join, we can connect on. Now, if you have a birthday between March 27th and April 2nd, or June 28th to July 2nd, or September 29th to October 3rd, or December 28th to January 1st, you're definitely in revision. I mean, your whole life direction, purpose, and so forth is really, suggest that surrender is one of the things that will make the changes a little less impactful. And, this is not even all that important, but we're in the middle of a Mercury retrograde as well. I mean, it's not all that important only because it happens every year, at least 3 times. But that started retrograding October 21st and will be ending November 10th. So if anybody doesn't already know about Mercury, it tends to garble communications. You're not clear. It's a good time to go on retreat. It's a good time to fall back and regroup. In fact, all the rewords, relax, revisit, revise, replan, all of those apply. So, I don't want to leave you with just the challenge. I want to talk also about how to thrive. And so here's my list of 7 suggestions for how we can thrive through these profound times. First, question your beliefs. Most of them were established in the past and they may still be appropriate. You have to question them. But it may be that they are no longer appropriate. Like, oh, I can't do that. Or, it didn't work before. Maybe it will work now. The past does not write the future. Period. Number 2, banish self-doubt. Be self-honest and take self-responsibility, but don't doubt yourself. And when, I love the image of the airline stewardess saying, put your mask on first, and then put your mask on your children. The point being is we really do need to take care of ourselves, especially if there are people around us that need us, because we can't give if we're depleted.
Right on, amen.
Then number 3, listen within. However you do that, meditation, contemplation, prayer, Insight and awareness comes when we stop and just breathe in the moment. And I loved the compassion, loved that. Number 4, let go of the past. Let go of control. There's a wonderful quote from Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, the founder of TM. Be able at any time to sacrifice who we are for who we can become. Number 5, visioning and choosing. Now, have you ever heard that your thoughts are prayers? Because every thought you think is sending out a message, a prayer. So, I think thought control is a good thing, but it's an inner dialogue. 6, natural allies. Find your natural allies, and here we are. I have to tell you, this group of 8 women I'm here with, 7 women that I'm with, are magnificent. They're my allies, and those who want the best for me, they are my allies. Forget the naysayers. Don't even tell them about your fine plans. And of course, be open to receive. And the last and most profound is the attitude of gratitude. Yes. Because gratitude it primes the pump for more. I want to close with a little story that I found many years ago actually now, but it came through the internet. You know how people share, they pass on these stories and they go on there's a list of people that have been sent to, and now it's you that get it, with no name as to who wrote the story or whose story it is. But the title is The Story of Jerry, or You Have Two Choices. Has anybody heard this one? Oh good, I'll share something new. Jerry is the manager of a restaurant. He's always in a good mood. When someone would ask him how he is doing, he'd always reply, "If I were any better, I would be twins." Many waiters would quit their jobs and follow him from restaurant to restaurant. Why? Because Jerry was a natural motivator. If an employee was having a bad day, Jerry was always there telling him how to look on the positive side. Seeing this style really made me curious, so I asked him, "I don't get it. No one can be positive all the time. How do you do it?" Jerry replied, "Each morning I wake up and I say to myself, I have 2 choices today. I can choose to be in a good mood, or I can choose to be in a bad mood. I always choose to be in a good mood. Each time something bad happens, I can choose to be a victim, or I can choose to learn from it. I always choose to learn from it. Every time someone comes to me complaining, I can choose to accept their complaint, or I can point out the positive side of life. I always choose to point out the positive side of life." "But it's not always that easy," I protested. "Yes, it is," Jerry said. "Life is always about choices. When you cut away all the junk, every situation is a choice. Yeah. You choose how you react to situations. You choose how people will affect your mood. You choose to be in a good mood or a bad mood. It's your choice how you live your life." Several years ago, I heard that Jerry accidentally did something you're never supposed to do in a restaurant business. He left the back door open. In the morning, he was robbed by 3 armed men. While he was trying to open the safe, his hand, shaking from nervousness, slipped off the lock. The robbers panicked and shot him. Luckily, Jerry was found quickly and rushed to the hospital. After 18 hours in surgery and weeks of intensive care, Jerry was released with fragments of the bullets still in his body. I saw Jerry about 6 months after the accident. When I asked him how he was, he replied, "If I were any better, I'd be twins. Want to see my scar?" I declined to see his wound, but did ask him what had gone through his mind as the robbery took place. The first thing that went through my mind was that I should have locked the back door, Jerry replied. And then, after they shot me, as I lay on the floor, I remembered that I had 2 choices. I could choose to live or I could choose to die. I chose to live. Weren't you scared, I asked? Jerry continued, the paramedics were great. They kept telling me I was going to be fine. But when they wheeled me into the emergency room and I saw the expression on the faces of the doctors and nurses, I got scared. In their eyes, I read, he's a dead man. I knew I had to take action. What did you do? I asked. Well, there was a big nurse shouting questions at me, said Jerry. She asked if I was allergic to anything. Yes, to bullets, I replied. Over their laughter, I told them, I'm choosing to live, so please operate on me as if I'm alive, not dead. Jerry lived thanks to the skill of his doctors, but also because of his amazing attitude. I learned from him that every day you have the choice to either enjoy your life or hate it. The only thing that is truly yours, that no one can control or take from you, is your attitude. If you can take care of that, everything else in life becomes much easier. So, what are you choosing? I hope you choose that life that you love and that you live exquisitely. And my guess is that if you've come to San Miguel, you've made at least one good choice. So thank you. And just to mention, I have a book over there of inspirational essays called Conscious Footsteps, Finding Spirit in Everyday Matters, in case you're interested. Thank you very much.